Hello, and welcome to the SCFW installation tutorial for the Gamebox, and the authentic Game Boy as well. You're going to need the following: a 2 GB micro SD card, an SD card reader, a SuperCard flash cart, which can be the compact flash variant, the mini SD variant, or the micro SD variant. Lastly, you'll need a PC to do all of this. If you don't have a 2 GB card, at least have a slot 1 flash card such as an R4. This method will be shown later. So let's begin. Please press the two keys together, which is Windows and X, and a context menu will appear. Please select Disk Management. The alternative is to open the Run dialog and type in disk mgmt.msc. Then press Enter. A new dialog will appear and it's called Disk Management. From here, please look for your microSD card. It should be the drive that is close to 2 GB in size. Remember, the SuperCard SD does not support any size beyond 2 GB. Please select that drive and format it to FAT16. In Windows, it's not called FAT16. It's simply called FAT. Please select that option. Afterwards, be sure to hit Format. Once the formatting is done, be sure to open that drive again. It should be empty. Please be sure not to select the source code. What we need are the compiled binaries here. After you're done downloading, please extract the data directly into the root folder of the SD card itself. If you notice, I did not include the SCFW folder and instead copied the files inside that folder to the root directory of the card. This will be explained later. First, I'm going to check if my Gamebox is still fully functioning. And yes, it is. Please ignore the HC label on this card because it's not high capacity. For cards like these, which is 2 GB and below, these are known as standard capacity SD cards. Now let's boot up the exec Gamebox while holding the left and right triggers. This should open up the self-test menu of the SuperCard SD. If you notice, you can't really read anything from here. Next, let's plug in the SD card, which has the SuperCard firmware. If you see these weird looking tiles on your screen, congratulations, the SD card is working. All you have to do here is to press A to open up the kernel. Next, we scroll down to the firmware file and press A. Press A to confirm flashing, and please wait for it to complete. Once you see the prompt, Done, it means you're done flashing. Press A to continue. please power cycle your Game Box or Game Boy. Now don't be alarmed because the critical failure is meant to happen since we did not copy the SCFW folder from the zip file that was downloaded. What we're going to do now is to create the SCFW folder and be sure that the letters are written in lowercase. Next, we're going to transfer the kernel into the SCFW folder. The firmware file at this point is not necessary as we already flashed the SuperCard SD. Congratulations! It's now fully functional. Since the SCFW firmware supports the FAT32 file system, you just have to place the kernel file inside the folder named SCFW, all in lowercase. Let's try running a game. If in case you want to revert back to the original firmware, you can use the firmware file provided by Metroid Maniac on post number 191. Extract the OFW firmware, which is ofw.frm, to the root directory of your SD card, and then flash it. And that's it. Now you should be back to the original stock firmware. You just have to power cycle your Game Box or Game Boy. And now for the slot 1 method, which requires an R4 and a Nintendo DS. On post number 296, there is an application called SCKill, which was initially developed by Metroid Maniac. So what you have to do is to get the file posted by Moonrabbit and extract the contents to the root directory of your SD card, or anywhere for that matter. For me, I created a new directory called SuperCard Tools. I then placed the SCKill application inside that folder. If you need a reference of what flashcard to use, you could take a look at mine. This card supports the R4i-SDHC YS menu. Please ensure that both the slot 1 flash card as well as the SuperCard SD are plugged in to your DS. Afterwards, you can turn it on. Before the SuperCard boots up, please ensure that you're holding the left and right triggers. Remember, SCFW doesn't have a self-test feature, only the stock firmware does. So if you see this, it means you're on stock. Restart your DS and run the flashcard on slot 1. Find the SC Kill application you transferred from your PC. Be sure to open the application and it should automatically start the process of flashing. Once you see the word dead appear at the bottom, it means that you're done flashing SCFW using the slot 1 method. And that's it. Now you know both methods on how to flash SCFW via the microSD way or the slot 1 method. Now it's up to you to choose which one you want to do.